out of turn, and he can say I am, which is fine. I'm good. I think he's looking for somebody to take that over that has a thorough background with football and can say we're going to make football in this conference over a period of time the best it can be based on the experience this guy brings from leagues that have experience with making football number one, because we all know this. And I love basketball, I love wrestling, I love baseball. He knows that we need to secure a long-term television contract to where the athletic directors in this conference can pay the bills and they can budget and plan in the future. Otherwise, none of this is going to matter. He knows that.
I know you don't typically like to talk about, goals or milestones. I don't want to jinx anything, but you're coming up on a big number as far as your win total. Have you given that even a second thought starting the season that's going to happen?
I really haven't. We've been very fortunate here to have a lot of success. And, knock on wood, I feel better now than I have in years and years here. I'm thinking way down the line. I thought one time at 65 I'd check it in. I don't see that happening now if I feel good. So the next one doesn't really do jack for me, honestly. It doesn't. I can tell you it did, but I'm worried about way down the line and trying to work with the commissioner and work with Dr. Shrum and Chad and Reed and our board of regents. We're all tugging one direction now, and to try to build this to where at some point somebody's going to take it over and it's going to be a hell of a job. That's my goal right now, not necessarily the one more win. But I'd like to win Thursday, to be honest with you.
Are you the type to, even during summer when things are slow, to reflect, look back at what you have built?
Yeah. How old are you now?
43.
Okay, so you're still young. I'm old enough now to reflect back and at least enjoy part of what I do. My kids I'm just about to become an empty nester, so that makes me sad every day. So I reflect on that. I reflect on the job, reflect on where we've started. I've said this, and I don't want to get into a long, drawn-out deal, but I had a discussion with this the other day with Doug Gottlieb on the radio, is from where we started when Coach Miles took that job to where we are now, I do reflect back on the success that we've had to build what we have here now for a Saturday game day that we can all be proud of. That, to me, I get satisfaction out of.
Did you just say you consider yourself shooting past 65?
I hope so, really. I want to stay healthy. I feel good. We have a big staff now. I don't really do anything anymore. Honestly, I don't. My Gage, my 17-year-old's here. He comes in all the time, and he sees me at my desk. Usually I'm thinking, and he says, "You don't do anything. What do you do? You just sit there." And I said, "Well, believe it or not, they pay me to think." So I'm thinking. So we have, our staffs are so big now that everybody has a responsibility, and not many coaches leave us because it's a great place to live and I'm a great person to work for. And so I don't really have to do much. I could not have a staff meeting for a week and the thing would flow like normal. It wasn't that way for 10 years, for two reasons. One, I was out of control and I was all over the place, bouncing everywhere. And two, we had coaches leaving all the time. And then Coach Holder said, "Hey, we're stopping this. We're doing long-term assistant coaches contracts," when nobody in the country did it. We were a trendsetter there. We stopped coaches leaving, except for Wickline. And then coaches started to stay. The place runs itself now. Most of the people that are in a director position for me, there's 8 of them, they've been with me a long time, so I don't have to do much anymore. I just get to sit back and enjoy it. And I've also got to the point where I understand the journey and what it takes to get to the game Thursday night, and be appreciative of that side of it more so than actually what happens out there. And I know people say that's crazy, you don't want to win. Nobody wants to win more than me. But I enjoy the journey. I enjoy watching Kendall Daniels. I enjoy watching Trace Ford rally back. I've enjoyed watching Spencer Sanders and what he's gone through, so on and so forth. So I'm happy. I enjoy that. I love watching the players. I tell the team, I told them the other day, look, the fun part for me is just getting started, because I just get to stand here and watch you guys play, and I don't really get real emotional because I'm proud of you. People will say, "Why aren't you showing emotions?" Because I don't know. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? Jump up and down? That's not who I am. I just like watching the game. And so I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with the organization, and I'm happy with the direction this university and administration's going.
Hey, Mike, when you guys kick off next Thursday, you're going to have coordinators, both of whom are black. You're one of only 2 schools in the entire Power 5 where that's the case. There just aren't a ton of black coordinators in college football. I don't know if it means a ton to you. I think it means a lot to those guys. But what does that signal about those 2 guys in specific, Derek and Casey, to have them in those jobs?
Well, first off, we hired leaders, men, and coaches. Okay, they just happen to be minorities, and I didn't go looking for that. Sometimes people think that I guide people off one direction, but we went a direction 2 or 3 different times before we had hired Coach Dunn, and the other one's white. So it wasn't like I was just out looking for a black coordinator. I was looking for the fit. And I was just telling Dunn the other day, which I try not to compliment him too much, but he's really good at what he does now. And we've been very fortunate, and selfishly, I've been very fortunate because we've had good play callers here on offense. They've gone off and been very successful. He's edging his way into that. He's not there with a couple of them, but he's getting close. He's really good at what he does now. And then Coach Mason brought all that experience that I've talked about that I liked, no matter what color he was, honestly. He brought that here. But I will say this, because it's worked out that way, I think it's a positive thing. There needs to be, we need to try and do more of that for all the right reasons. But I don't think we do it just because of a person's color. I just don't believe in that. That's just me. So I'm excited about him. Dunn's going to be a head coach if he chooses to. Dunn eventually, I think he's ready to be a coordinator in the NFL. You're seeing college coaches go in the NFL or coordinators, the Kingsbury-ish and those guys. And the NFL game is now running college plays. And he's probably ready to do that now if somebody chooses to, and he's ready to be a head coach. Mason, I think Mason loves what he's doing. He loves being here, loves the role he's playing right now. So, hopefully we'll be able to keep him. Who is the other school? Anybody know? Louisville, okay. I'm sorry.
Thomas Harper is a guy who's, been playing behind guys who are experienced and, obviously on NFL rosters and whatnot. Now that he's finally getting his opportunity, do you feel that he could be kind of like this year's Devin Harper, who, his brother, who, just bided his time and finally, made him his
Sure
name?
could.
He got that up.
He could play. See, Devin held his own for a few weeks, and then he got comfortable and got really good because it's called reps, right? It's experience. Things settle down. The game slows down. Little Harp could be the same way. And if he'll do that, if he'll make strides and he'll continue to grow like his brother did, we'll be thrilled with him. But his work ethic's been tremendous.
I know when he came out of high school, I remember you saying that he didn't look like a high schooler when he first came in, and and obviously he didn't even redshirt. What was it then to now that you feel that maybe he is ready to become, that starter?
Experience. There is no substitute for reps and experience. Game time, being out there, your heart beating out of your chest, you're hot, got to think, got to make plays. Experience. He's had the luxury of watching his brother. Those things all factor in, and I would say that that gives him the chance to really have a good season, more so than anything, because he's always worked hard, he's always been tough, and he's always taken the coaching. He just hasn't had a number of reps, and he's going to get them now. He'll get a lot of them.
Mike, Central Michigan coming to town, does that bring back some sort of painful memories?
Yeah, anytime we lose, they're painful. People ask all the time about certain games. I only wake up in the middle of the night thinking of games that we didn't win. I never think of, I haven't woke up yet thinking about the Fiesta Bowl, but I've sure woke up thinking about the Big 12 championship game. And those games you never get rid of, and I don't know why that is. I wish they'd come up with some type of medication that would make it go the other direction, but we didn't play good. We didn't play good in that game, and we didn't put ourselves in position to where that didn't matter. We just didn't play good. And unfortunately, sometimes that happens. I wish I knew why, because if I did, I would have certainly solved it prior to, but we just didn't play good that day. But I will say this, and you guys that have followed me for 18 years know this. They had an NFL quarterback. And when you play an NFL quarterback, you are always at risk. He made play after play after play. He wore us out on those passes. He scrambled, made some throws. So when you take a team that, whatever, I don't even know what the spread was of that game. Let's just say it was a 12-point spread. The other team has an NFL quarterback. In my opinion, that spread goes down to about 5 points because they can change games, particularly at this level.
His tight end is in the league too from that day.
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah, and we had some other. Well, our quarterback's in the NFL too,
Right.
but and you know Mason, I'll go to the end and fight for him. But that guy played really good that day.
That's actually all interesting, but not the part of the game I was really talking about.
Which one are you talking about?
The play that ended the
Are you talking
game.
about the extended game?
Yeah, the extended game.
You know, one of my goals, at some point when I'm done, I'm going to write a book, and it'll be. I have so much stuff that I don't know if you'll be able to get it in a book. And there'll be a good chapter on that. And the other thing I want to do is I want to be able to, at some point, figure out how I can get that win back, because I ought to already be at 150 right now. Then we wouldn't be talking about this. But there's got to be some circuit judge that would say the game was really over, you know. But anyway, yeah, that was a crazy part. Yeah, guys made a mistake. The officials made a mistake. It was interesting when a discussion I had with them. I said, "Now I don't think this is right," and they said, "Well, we talked about it and we do." I said, "Okay, I've never heard of this on an offensive penalty, but it's all gone now." So
Consider, when you say you don't think it was right,
I said
were you pretty sure you were right? You
yeah,
consider
but they said
taking-
we got to go, and I said.
consider taking the team off the field, saying the game's over.
More of what you'd see in a protest, like take your shirt off, lay on the field kind of deal, hug a tree. More of that than take the team off the field. But, honestly, I actually thought of what could I do to stop it and let people think. But I was afraid it'd make a big scene national, and I didn't want to do that.
I'm gonna guess you know the crew, or at least where the crew's coming from.
You're asking.
Yeah.
I would
Did that have
volunteer.
any kind of effect on how you practice defending Hail Marys?
Yes, we looked at that, and we were able to see things that we did wrong, which it was kind of a weird deal because it ended up being way short, and then the guy cut across the, it ended up not working. I don't think that it was designed that way. Maybe it was, but I don't think it was designed that way. But we looked at it, studied it, changed a few things, yes.
I was going to volunteer to write your book, but if you're going to coach till 65, there's no way I can last that long.
You're really, really good in grammar and spelling and stuff, but by that time, you might be out, yeah.
Do you know how you intend to split those carries among the running backs quite yet?
No, I don't. I'm hoping that they all stay healthy and that based on maturity and experience that Dominic totes the load. And then let the other guys, because the other guys haven't played, let them kind of get their feet wet and not put them out there and just have to hammer them. That's my goal.
You did coach till you're 65. You thought most people think that coaches wouldn't coach like that, like Bobby Bowden, Paterno, those guys stick around that long. They wouldn't think you'd be setting the trend if you went that long.
Well, I think Coach Saban's he's like 70 or something, right? And I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to him. He's got 19 national championships or whatever. But, and I don't know. I'm just saying, if you feel good and you like what you do and you're fortunate enough that you're healthy, like in the summer when I go on vacation, if I go somewhere for a few days, about a day and a half is all I can take, and then I've got to find something to do. I can't just sit by a pool and just look around. I can't do that. I got to have something going on. So that's what my fear is to do it. And I can get into some other business, which I might, but I just don't know because this job eats up my time all the time. And that's what Kristen wants. She wants me to be, my time to be eaten up all the time.
Do TV?
Sure, I'll do TV.
Like analysis, games, stuff like that.
Sure.
How have you seen that fiasco experience for Jamar and heading into the season?
Those reps are valuable. Is that what you're asking me? Their reps in the Fiesta Bowl were able. You're in a big setting. You had to make plays, come from behind. You got to stop them, got to challenge them. Notre Dame had length at tight end and wide out. So, yes, those reps should pay off for us.
Have you had the opportunity to see any of the Hard Knocks highlights of Malcolm?
I've seen one, the one where they were excited about him, doing the right thing. I haven't seen any other ones.
There was one where the position coach was basically yelling at the veterans saying, yeah, is that the one you saw?
That's the one I saw,
Okay.
yeah. Malcolm was kind of sinking in his seat.
He doesn't seem like a guy who wants that type of attention, but he just wants to go out and...
I it's a good thing, but I think he was sinking in. He had that deal, and I think he was trying to sliver under the table. Yeah, I mean, those guys, that's their job. And so I would guess it's pretty fierce, and, this is not real funny. And I just kind of felt for him in that situation. So.
You like last week's, they're warming up before the joint practice with Indy, and it's the linebacker coach he's talking to. He's trying to talk to him in wrestling, because he knows he's a wrestler. Mm-hmm. And Malcolm starts saying, I'm not going to start a fight, but if somebody puts their hands on me after the play, I'm not going to, and he talks about putting them in a hip roll, and you love it because of the wrestling background.
Yeah, well, I would not mess with him. I was over here at the scrimmage the other day, watching a high school scrimmage, and I saw, can't remember who we were going against, Jinx or Choctaw or Sand Springs, I don't remember, Stillwater. And one of their linemen was blocking one of our defensive players, and he's a wrestler. And I just saw him, and he kind of pushed him late, and the kid hooked his arm and hip flew him over. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, the cleats were in the air, and I saw it, and I'm like, that's far out. That's awesome. And, there's no officials out there, so you can't get it. I mean, that's probably the coolest thing I saw the whole scrimmage. So.
Casey said the last couple of years, he's been calling plays with the knowledge that we can't get Spencer hurt because of the lack of experience, depth of quarterback. So that may have to continue. Is that something you guys have talked about and you endorse?
We've had those discussions. We got to run our offense. I feel I'm comfortable with where we're at in that position. Most coordinators have apprehensive feelings about another guy going in and playing quarterback. That's just the way it is. So I would say that we're always wanting to do that, but I feel good about where we're at with those guys.
Would you feel better if you got up early in some of these early games and got a chance for Gunner or Garrett to both get in there?
Hopefully we'll be able to do that. Hopefully we're in a position. We wanted to do it last year with guys, and we didn't have that luxury. We were just trying to win at the end of the games. This team is, I'm going to say this now. You got to watch these teams. This team is a tough physical team. That concerns me. But any experience that they can get is valuable to them. And gaining that experience with tremendous amount of pressure on them makes it extremely difficult because they get evaluated differently than anybody on the field.
Spencer loses his helmet, has to come out for a play the first drive. Who do you run in?
Yeah. That what you're asking? Yeah. Yeah, he's up next.
And Mike, these Thursday night games have become almost routine for you guys. I know you've said in the past you really like them because you get them before students and fans get off on the weekend, Labor Day weekend. Is that still your mindset? Is that why we see them, or anything changed in that regard?
So it's interesting when we talk conference realignment. I think there could be a variety of things that factor into all of this. I'm going to get back to that, but I think this is worth talking about. And the networks are going to tell us what to do, period. Okay? And so you might play Thursday night games. You might play Friday night games. And you might play 11 a.m. games. Fans don't like it, but the media tells us what to do. So we have our contract with the Big 12 television contract requires us over a certain number of years to play certain Thursday night games and even a Friday night game. I can't remember the details of it, but we pick those. So for us to be able to start the season then, I think is it Labor Day weekend? So it catches the students before they all head out, which is smart. Thursday night, try to get more people. You grab television, you grab a crowd, you can. We thought it was beneficial. And then we get an extra day for the next game, so on and so forth. But then there's going to be conversations, in my opinion, like how many of the teams in your league are willing to play Thursday and Friday night games might depend on what kind of contract that Fox or ESPN or whoever gives you. And how many teams in this league, are you guys still willing to work a deal with Bedlam, with OU and OSU, to where you play for the next 10 years, even though you're not in the same league? If so, we'll pay you. All those things will be on the table. It all factors in, just like it is now.
Thanks. Your advice on the one-arm push-ups, spreading the weight at work.
Were you weren't here?
No, I got. I had some surgery, but we both can't.
Surgery's not important. You gotta learn that. Weight distribution.
I went home and got a couple lessons.
So you can do it. Weight distribution, not strength. It's all weight distribution. All right, guys, appreciate y'all. Thank you.